Very pleased to welcome back a good friend of the program. It is Mark the Shark DeCarlo from the Wild Rose Sports Association as they present Wild Rose Wrestling coming up this weekend with 3 events celebrating their birthday. On Thursday the 17th, they are in Red Deer. Friday the 18th, they're here in Calgary. And then Saturday the 19th, they are in Medicine Hat. Yes, a nice middle stop in the capital city of professional wrestling in Canada. Shark, how are you today? Thank you for doing this.
Very good, Peter Klein, the former Calgary Crusher, Peter Klein. I know that in your former incarnation on the Fan 960, we utilized that name for you, and it was very apropos. And I think, as I recall, a lot of the wrestlers at the shows that you attended took umbrage with that name, not the least of which was the Canadian Crusher, AJ Sanchez, as I recall.
Yes, yeah, and that's not a fun guy to be on the bad side of. That was
I think
not
he's
enjoyable.
about 300 pounds heavier than you, and actually a lot more agile than you as well.
Yes, yeah, more agile, tougher, stronger, more all of the things he is better at than I am.
However, I must say, for all of the viewers out there that can plainly see, your mustache is a lot better than his.
Well, thank you. Yes, that is an area that I do seem to thrive in. But yeah, the Wild Rose Sports Association doing it right. Like I said, 3 nights for a birthday celebration. Just like we'll get into a few specific performers here in a second, but this should be a really fun 3 nights of pro wrestling here in Alberta.
Well, I'm really pumped and stoked. It's my first foray back into hosting and ring announcing for the Wild Rose Sports Association since the first Alberta Invitational tournament that was held last fall at the legendary Stampede Pavilion here in Calgary. What a great couple of nights that was, with talent from all over the world. And this is a 3-night birthday bash extravaganza where we will be highlighting each and every champion within Wild Rose Wrestling, heavyweight, cruiserweight, mid-heavyweight, tag team, women's, and your favorite, Peter, the hardcore division.
Nice. Oh, that'll be a lot of fun. The just one thing here before I have a few other questions, but it really does seem like wrestling's doing really well in Calgary here right now. Like Wild Rose, anytime I see a social post, it's like, okay, yeah, Wild Rose Wrestling doing it right, and these 3 nights are going to be great. We just had 2 relatively big shows come through here. Calgary got to acknowledge the tribal chief. We had AEW Collision, which they tried really hard. There was, but it seems like wrestling has found another life here in the city of Calgary, and Wild Rose bringing some real good talent into the city.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. And we at Wild Rose Wrestling and the Wild Rose Sports Association are pumped about the next 3 shows. As you mentioned, Thursday in Red Deer at the Festival Hall, Friday here in Calgary at the Genesis Center in the north, and Saturday down at the Wild Rose, yes, it's called the Wild Rose Room at the Medicine Hat Stampede and Exhibition Grounds. Might make mention of the fact that doors open each of the 3 nights at 6:30 with a 7 o'clock bell time. And as you made mention, wrestling, I agree with you, Peter, here in Western Canada and Alberta is on the upswing. And I, like you, was at the last 2 big shows at the Saddle Dome, of course, a couple of weeks ago. All Elite Wrestling Collision was here, and the fans were rabid, especially in seeing CM Punk, some for, some against. And then last Friday, with the return of WWE SmackDown for the first time in many years, and WWE the last few times that they've been to town have drawn less than stellar crowds. This was by far and away the most packed I've seen the Saddle Dome for a wrestling show since 1997 with the infamous Canadian Stampede, when it was the last time that the entire Hart family and the Hart Foundation worked together. And, you know, wrestling is a genre of entertainment that many people love over the years. And, you know, there's a lot of promotions in Western Canada, from Winnipeg to Victoria and parts in between. But we here at the Wild Rose Sports Association and Wild Rose Wrestling, Peter, we profess to have all of our champions compete in other promotions. A lot of promotions, they're like, well, you know, you work for us, you don't work for them. we don't believe in that. You want to get out and hone your craft. The more times you can wrestle, the better for you, the better for fans, and it exposes our talent, our wrestlers, to other promotions and other fans that might normally see our product. And I think that over the couple of years that Wild Rose Wrestling has been in existence, and of course this is the Birthday Bash tour, that the fact of the matter is that the fans are in for a treat.
Mm-hmm.
The cards on Thursday in Red Deer, Friday in Calgary, and Saturday in Medicine Hat, from top to bottom and bottom to top, are absolutely fantastic. Like I say, all the champions will be there, and some stars from around the world, some who are making their Alberta debuts, and others that haven't been here for quite some time.
One of the stars that kind of jumps off the page when you see the poster is Raj Singh from Impact Wrestling. You watch him perform, and it's like I sometimes kind of like almost wince when you hear some of the old podcasts, and that guy just had it. I can't explain it, but they had it. Or that guy didn't have it. I can't explain it. And then you see Raj Singh, it's like, oh, I kind of get that, because there's something about how he carries himself and how he performs where it's like that's just it, isn't it?
Well, Raj Singh does have it. And of course, for those that don't know, his father is the legendary former head of Stampede Wrestling's Karachi Vice, the legendary Gamma Singh, the great Gamma. And of course, he came up through the ranks of Stampede Wrestling with his cousin, Jinder Mahal. And Jinder Mahal, a former WWE world champion, and who is back on TV on a weekly basis on NXT with two big brutes of a tag team. And Raj Singh has been many things in and around the world of professional wrestling. Right now, he is an Impact Wrestling superstar that's on every week, and he has it, Peter. You're right. He has the it factor. He's got great wrestling ability, great mic skills, great gear, great promo, great lineage, great history in professional wrestling. And he, at one time, was referred to as Money Munraj Singh. And now he has changed his moniker as a bit of an homage and a tribute to his longtime trainer, other than his father. He is now known as Champagne Raj Singh.
Oh, I like that.
He will be on each of the three shows coming up this week: Thursday in Red Deer, Friday in Calgary, Saturday in Medicine Hat.
Another local talent who feels like he is on the cusp of a breakout. We've seen him on television. I believe Braun Strowman threw him around a little bit. But Mo Jabari, it really feels like every time I watch this kid wrestle, he just gets better. Like he's either he's like a video game character where he just like unlocks a new thing each time. But it feels like the sky's the limit for Mo Jabari as well.
Well, and you know, he's one of the talents in Western Canada that I personally feel is going to make it in either AEW or WWE. Eventually, he wrestles for a lot of different promotions. RCW, Wild Rose, Dungeon Wrestling, the promotion that's doing very well and has shows from time to time in Calgary. And Kid Chocolate Mo Jabari has got some great athleticism, and he is what we call a flyer in the ring, but he's got psychology. He knows how to manage a match and knows his deficiencies and advantages of his opponent, and always has a great game plan going into his matches.
And he's one where you talk about like finding other opportunities and going to different places. He has really taken advantage of that. You follow him on social media. He's wrestling in Calgary, then he's up in Edmonton, and then he's down in Minnesota, and then he's off in Vancouver. That kind of experience is so valuable for someone developing such as himself.
So many of the top talents that are with us this weekend on the Wild Rose Wrestling Birthday Bash, they do exactly what you just said, Peter. We have talents coming in from Ontario and around the world. But, you know, there's many talents that are on the show this weekend that have recently been on AEW. The current Canadian Wrestling's elite heavyweight champion, the one and only zombie killer Mentolo, will be in Red Deer, Calgary, and Medicine Hat. And he recently was on an AEW show up in Saskatoon where he faced Takeshita, made a great accounting of himself. And there are so many stars. Ava Lawless, former RCW women's champion, and is in a championship match this coming week against the current Wild Rose Wrestling women's champion, the German powerhouse Kat Von Hees. Ava Lawless, a great talent, as well as Kat Von Hees. Silesia Sparks, and some other girls that are coming in as well, which I'm very excited about. And all of the talents that are coming in. Alexia Nicole, that's who I wanted to mention. Ontario wrestling mainstay, and she's been in Shimmer and in Ring of Honor and in Impact, and so many of the great talents that we booked for this weekend are doing very, very well elsewhere. Just case in point, the Moment Taker, the mysterious Moment Taker from the faction The Moment of Truth, Jordy Taylor, makes his triumphant return to Alberta and Wild Rose Wrestling. And I'm always sure about two things with Jordy Taylor: greatness in the ring, and I never know what to expect from the Moment Taker.
That's a really good combination. My next question was going to be, can we go through some of the other performers? But I think we did that here really well. There is a whole lot of talent there. And you've kind of mentioned like some of these performers working with RCW and with Dungeon Wrestling. There was a time where someone promoting their own show wouldn't dare mention some of the other promotions that are going on around Calgary. But it does feel like that there is a bit more of a partnership among at least most of the promotions right now in Calgary and in Southern Alberta.
Listen, Vancouver, from west to east, Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling, Thrash Wrestling, Real Canadian Wrestling, Canadian Wrestling's Elite. There are so many promotions that are in and around Canada. Up in Edmonton, Love Pro Wrestling, and of course, Harlan Abbott's promotion, who just had a great show at the Midway up in Edmonton. Just a fantastic amount of promotions that are giving professional wrestlers and professional wrestling fans an avenue to experience the genre of sports entertainment, professional wrestling, that is at an all-time high right now. And we here at Wild Rose Wrestling profess to get the talent, get them the experience that they need. And yes, we don't have a problem at all promoting the other promotions, because it's great for everybody concerned in the world of professional wrestling, certainly here in Western Canada.
Yeah, kind of a rising tides raises all ships. Like what's good for one wrestling promotion can be good for others as well, right?
Absolutely. And we like that, and we want our wrestlers to get out there, and we have the distinct possibility of at any given time having our champions defend their titles at other promotions. So it gives us a bit of a high level of exposure and some added intensity and fun, actually, for the fans of the other promotions, seeing our champions in action in their rings, in their promotions.
Now, the card subject to change does come up a little bit, and it seems like that has kind of popped up here as well. A late injury has kind of thrown things for a bit of a loop, but it does seem like a pretty strong recovery has been made. Are you able to kind of elaborate on that for us a little bit?
Absolutely. So we released on our social media networks yesterday that unfortunately the current and reigning Wild Rose Wrestling mid-heavyweight champion Dalton Rouge was injured last week at a Real Canadian Wrestling show. However, we have scoured the wrestling map and come up with a great replacement, and he is former WWE and NXT UK superstar Amir Jordan.
Wow.
And for those of you that haven't heard the name or seen him, I empower you to go on social media or on YouTube and search him, because he is fantastic, and he will be competing on Wednesday night and Friday night, pardon me, on Thursday night and Friday night in Red Deer and Calgary, and it is going to be fantastic, and we're very lucky and happy to have Amir Jordan with us here in Wild Rose Wrestling.
Yeah, that's quite the late replacement to be able to just go out and bring in someone who has been on the WWE TV and, like you said, NXT UK as well. All right, that is basically it for the questions that I had. But last one, you're one of the best in the business at this. Talk us into the building for these next 3 nights. Give us the hard sell here, Mark the Shark DeCarlo.
Hard sell. Here we go. Wind up the shark. Let him go as you're ready. Like I say, tomorrow night at the Festival Hall in Red Deer, Alberta, an amazing 7 matches on the card. We're going to open up with the Cruiserweight title match as the one and only current Cruiserweight title champion, the diabolical Davey Disaster, puts his title on the line against Tyler Hard Knocks. We're going to have a tag team title match as the WRSA champions, the Prophets, Chris Castles and Rhino Reynolds, put their titles on the line against the nefarious team of Old School Violence, Steven Styles and Steve Wild. And I'm always sure with Old School Violence that they're going to bend the rules, especially when the referee's back is turned. Newcomer to Wild Rose Wrestling. She's been on Shimmer. She's been on Ring of Honor. She's been on Impact. Silesia Sparks goes up against the former Real Canadian Wrestling Women's Champion Ava Lawless, newcomer as well to Wild Rose Wrestling. He'll be facing the CWE Heavyweight Champion, the Zombie Killer Mentolo. I speak of none other than a veteran of Mexican wrestling and across Canada, El Diablo, Gabriel Fuerza. That should be a pillar-to-post, high-spot, unbelievably exciting match, and I'm really looking forward to that, Peter. Women's title match. The German powerhouse, Kat Von Hees, to face the challenge of Alexia Nicole. The semi-main event, the heavyweight championship match between the current and reigning WRSA heavyweight champion, Crude Oil Cody Mack, as he puts his title on the line against the moment taker, Jordy Taylor. And capping it all off, tomorrow night, the 6-man tag team main event, KB6, Isaac Takeover, and the aforementioned Amir Jordan coming in from the States and his recent history on NXT UK. They'll be facing the tag team of Kid Chocolate, or the 6-man tag team of Mojibari Kid Chocolate, Champagne Raj Singh, and the one and only Harlan Abbott.
Wow.
Harlan Abbott, well known across the West, and the Healer is his nickname, and he always tries to heal his opponents. That is a top to bottom, bottom to top, stack hard tomorrow night in Red Deer, Friday night at the Genesis Center here in Calgary. An amazing 8 matches. I'll blow through it. Dean Richter and Cody Mack to face the challenge of Isaac Takeover and KB6. Ava Lawless to face Alexia Nicole. The Healer Harlan Abbott against El Diablo Gabriel Fuerza. The championship tag team match. The Prophets to put their titles on the line against the Handsome Devils. A hardcore title match with Raph putting his title on the line in an open challenge. We don't know who he's going to be facing. I'm looking forward to that because this is a rematch from a couple of months ago. The Zombie Killer Mentolo against the Moment Taker Jordy Taylor. Women's title match in the semi-main event. And it'll be Kat Von Hees and Silesia Sparks. And in the big main event, a triple threat match. Kid Chocolate, Mojibari versus Champagne Raj Singh, and the Aussie legend himself, Chris Knight, who is a stalwart And he hasn't worked many other promotions, if no other promotions other than Dungeon, but he has accepted our invitation and he will be competing in Friday night's main event. And then we cap it off, Peter, down at the Wild Rose Room at the Exhibition in Stampede in Medicine Hat, Saturday night, 7 matches, cruiserweight title triple threat, no disqualification to kick it all off. David Disaster, Tyler Knox, Isaac Takeover, mid-heavyweight #1 contenders match, Kid Chocolate and Pure Power Wrestling mainstay Dewey Robson, tag team title match, the Profits and the Handsome Devils in a rematch from Friday. We're not quite sure who's going to win Friday. Match #4, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is a huge challenge for Champagne Raj Singh as he'll be facing the Moment Taker, Jordy Taylor. Women's title match, Ava Lawless, Silesia Sparks. Also in the semi-main event, the healer Harlan Abbott to face the Zombie Killer Mentolo. And in the main event, the heavyweight title match between Crude Oil Cody Mack and the Aussie legend Chris Knight. Wow. 3 fantastic nights of great action, and we have solicited and signed and made matches that are second to none. And we invite all of the great fans of Western Canada out to Red Deer, Calgary, and Medicine Hat. Get your tickets online at eventbrite.ca, or as always, they'll be available at the front door all 3 nights.
Yeah, it's going to be an epic 3 nights. It's a real treat that they're coming to Calgary. I can't wait to check out the show here in town on Friday. But Red Deer and Medicine Hat, you're going to be treated to some fantastic professional wrestling as well.
I understand, Peter, that you're actually going to be at the show here at the Genesis Center on Friday.
That is correct. I will be in attendance. Me and my mustache will both be there coming up this Friday. So very much looking forward to it.
Big, you'll have to buy a seat specifically for it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speak of the it factor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The star maker.
I must say, Peter, that given your history at prior professional wrestling shows here in Calgary, where I've been in attendance, yell and scream, cheer for your fave, boo for the hated, but be careful because they know who you are and they're not opposed to coming up and giving you a bit of a lesson.
Oh, yes. No, I know. I am bringing a human shield with me this time to throw in the way just in case. But yes, right. No, I know that. And now that you've brought that up, I am terrified of what might be planned.
And also, Peter, I'd like to thank you, the Couch Potato Diary podcast, all of your sponsors, and congratulations. You're back on Sportsnet Radio, the Fan 960 here in Calgary. And, you got a great voice. But some of your opponents have said to the Shark and others as well, you have a great face for radio.
It's perfect for radio. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Thanks,
my
Peter,
critics
appreciate it.
My critics sometimes get it wrong, but not in this case. Shark, thank you very much for this again. Check out Wild Rose Wrestling coming to Red Deer, Calgary, and Medicine Hat this weekend.